With the final stages of the Copa Libertadores on the line, Deportes Tolima hosted Boca in hope of qualifying. Boca Juniors, one of the powerhouses of the competition, have made qualifying hard for themselves this year and needed to avoid a defeat away from home. Deportes Tolima, with the next stages in their own hands, would need to overcome Boca at Estadio Manuel Murillo Toro. In this tactical analysis, we will look at how Deportes Tolima almost put a huge dent in the dreams of Boca's qualifying hopes. Lineups: Gustavo Alfaro's Boca opted to go from a 4-4-2 in their last game to a 4-3-3 system. The formation would transform into a 4-5-1 when defending, which bolstered the middle. Ultimately, Tolima would find it hard to play due to the high numbers. Deportes Tolima went from an attacking 4-3-2-1 to a 4-4-2 at times during open play. Tolima speed into the lead straight from the first whistle. Deportes Tolima sprung into action. The players positioned themselves high up the pitch and pressed. The pressing wasn't as vigorous as compared to the likes of Liverpool, but it was done positionally and zonally. The ball is casually played to the Boca centre-back whilst being pressed from the right. 23 Castro also puts the Boca centre-back under pressure from the blind side. Together they win the ball and convert a chance from nothing. 1-0 Tolima. If you would have thought that going 1-0 down to laissez-faire defending would have woken Boca up, you would be wrong. Not even 10 minutes later, Boca would be caught short again with poor zonal defending. Tolima skips past another half-hearted tackle and find themselves in a strong position. Lopez, who is man-marking, is also caught ball-watching, and the man he's marking finds space and head home. 2-0 Tolima. As Tolima surged forward, Boca Juniors looked second best going into every tackle. There was a sense of Boca just trying to keep the discipline and not wanting to be erratic. However, what happened was too far the other way, with an almost contemptuous display of defending. Tolima's defense. Tolima was compact and used numerical superiority to stifle Boca. Players were man-marked and pulled around the pitch to upset the compactness, as we can see here. Boca had to fight for space. The hosts found themselves 2-0 up. Boca finally woke up and started to surge forward with the intent to score. Tolima, though, looked organized. It was quite clear there was a defensive plan. Compactness, man-marking and superior number were the tools that Alberto Gamero would command his team to apply. Tolima defends the middle of the pitch. Boca needed to use the width. Tolima didn't want Boca to play through the middle and structured themselves in such a way to ensure this. Once again, numbers at the back and middle hampered Boca Juniors' progression forward. Tolima, sensing a big victory and with a big cushion, remained organized. Tolima anticipate the short corner. Even on set pieces, Deportes Tolima looked structured and ready for anything Boca had to throw at him. In the image above we can see how they have man-marked every Boca threat inside the box with a man-free edge of the 6-yard box to anticipate the cross.
The short corners were anticipated. Both wingbacks moved in on the player with possession whilst Castro.
Boca would need to dig deep to get anything from this game. Boca started to attack by going down the channels and cutting inside. Once they started doing this, Tolima panicked. A mistake was made and Boca found themselves back in the game on the 34th minute. Just when things couldn't get any worse for Elvino Tinto Guaro, they conceded a penalty just before half-time. 2-2 Boca back in control. Tolima lack a plan going forward. Tolima realized they would still need a plan of attack to get back into the game. A draw just wasn't enough, they needed another goal. However, as they progressed forward, they seemed to be completely devoid of an attacking plan. Alberto Gamero seemed to be relying on individual skill and flair to find the next goal as Tolima aimlessly hit long balls for the forwards. Boca moved into a 4-4-2 with structure at the back. Tolima are man marked and the man in possession is being pressed. No options but to hit another hopeful long ball. Boca Juniors finally got their act together defensively and a real defensive structure started to form. We can see above the compact defense gave no room for Tolima to play in as they were forced to hit long balls and take shots from far out. It was their way of trying to penetrate a tight defensive structure. Boca Juniors' defensive measures. Gustavo Alfaro's men finally had the game under control and had very little desire to move forward in possession. Out of possession, the whole team could be found behind the ball and in their own half, inviting Tolima to attack a now disciplined defensive side. One defensive tactic used was the pendulum method, where the defensive line holds as one player steps out and presses. The Boca player steps out from the first defensive line to press the player in possession and force him backwards or sideways. Whilst the player presses, the gap is filled in behind with lateral movement from the defending team. As the player in possession is pressed and the ball is offloaded to a teammate, the player pressing returns back to the line as another player then presses, making a pendulum-like movement. The ball is played sideways. The pressing player runs back to the defensive line and is replaced by another pressing Boca player. Long balls and second balls. Wanting to immediately dissipate any pressure on the back four, Boca started sending long balls up the field, over the opposition's defense from goal kicks or through the defensive line when in possession. Boca's left back hits a long ball upfield. Boca now fight for the second balls and try to hold possession further up the field to wind the clock down. When Boca do go forward, when Boca did have possession in the middle of the pitch, there was one tactic which would completely catch Tolima off guard and would beat defensive lines repeatedly in the second half. The tactic was the old pass and move, and when executed with just one touch can be deadly. This tactic is used by Boca's rivals River Plate, who do this fantastically through the middle of the pitch. A pass straight up to the attacking pair of Boca. One touch of pass and move and Tolima are completely ripped open. With the line beaten, a pass is made onto the oncoming Boca left winger. Statistics. Looking at the momentum chart, we can see early Boca dominance, followed by Tolima's 2 goals once they attack midway through the first half. Boca responded with a massive shift in attacking momentum and drew the game just before half-time. In the second half, we can see Tolima attacking, but it was only because of Boca's tactics of hitting long balls and inviting Tolima onto the defensive setup. Conclusion. Deportes Tolima faces bottom of the group for the next draw. They need Boca to lose to Atletico PR and to win the game by more than 7 goals. A bridge too far perhaps. Conversely, Gustavo Alfaro's Boca Juniors have one more game in the group stages at home, needing only a draw. Advancing to the next round in the Copa Libertadores is firmly in their hands. However, they play top of the group Atletico PR, who may cause a threat. Will they go for goals at home or play it safe? See you back here on the 10th of May. Let's block ads. Why?